It is helpful to understand, of course, the dilemma, the wounds, and the differences that require healing and reconciliation. It is good to understand example where we failed, but we should not always focus on the negative. The issue here, where do we go from here? How do we deal with this? It would be too ambitious for anyone to have a pretense, at least for me, to say, all right, now here is the formula and the guideline. You do X, Y, and Z. All I can hope to do in the remaining few minutes, inshallah, is not to suggest even solutions, not even broad solutions, but humbly suggested framework within which solutions on the broad level or specifically on the ground can be considered, because it is a lot of work to really go from top down until you really reach the field itself and become more specific and concrete. And I'd humbly suggest that there are three basic guidelines or pillars of the framework of beginning the process of solution. The first pillar is purification, tazkiyah, purifying our hearts, examining our intentions. Let each and every one of us, leaders and followers alike, ask themselves constantly, ceaselessly, is my intention truly to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and win paradise? Is my niyyah, and we are all humans, have weakness, but how far is my niyyah tarnished somehow by the desire to get any benefit for myself? Material, leadership, loyalty of others. Is my loyalty essentially to one group, organization, ethnic group, linguistic group, this or that? Or is my loyalty above all to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which provide the underpinning, if not the very foundation and the framework that I could have derived loyalty? There's no problem having loyalties, but it has to be derived above all from loyalty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It has to be based upon it, and it cannot violate this list of priorities. Does my intention, or is my intention blemished somehow with some sense of pride on the basis of ethnicity, language, nationalism? And again, when some people say new Muslim, what is new Muslim? Everybody is born Muslim. New revert, not convert, revert, coming back to the nature of Islam. Even if we take it in terms of how many years a person has been a Muslim, or somebody who's born a Muslim since he was a baby versus someone who embraced Islam even in his 90s. Let's remember, we don't have a union seniority rosters by mere employment. Even in unions, seniority is not always by the amount of service, but also there could be seniority by different criteria as well. It's not always that the date of employment, as some of you in business are aware of this. What does it mean? A person whose Islam goes back to 5 days, few days, may be more enthusiastic, more sincere, and might be more knowledgeable even than someone who says, oh, I've got 60 years behind me of Islam. Seniority roster, I should be first. You know, what do we mean by that? And that's the issue that we really need to answer for ourselves before asking anyone else to answer for us. I started with that particular pillar. Even though on the surface it might sound remote or irrelevant, but no, not really. Without this tazkiyah, or this self-purification, we would not succeed to inculcate in ourselves the true Islamic attitude. Without that base or pillar, any amount of knowledge would lose its true guiding light And without that base, the blessings in our effort and work could be voided or at least diminished.